Talking about heart health this morning. Hopefully you remembered your gifts, everything you need for holiday dinner. But joining me now is Dr. John Higgins with UT Health Houston. We're going to talk a little bit about those not so heart healthy meals that are coming up. But you know, in the first half hour, we also talked to Lakeisha Brown. She was a woman who was misdiagnosed with heart disease for many years. And you said that, you know, for women, maybe that's not so surprising to you.
Right. Sometimes women will present with symptoms that are not quite the textbook. And, you know, we always say, Haley, you know, if something doesn't seem right, you know, when in doubt, check it out.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And speaking of, you know, tips for the holidays, what do you have to say about the food that we're about to be eating?
Okay, well, I've got...
I know you don't approve.
No, I've got two ends of the spectrum here, Haley. On the one hand, if you are generally healthy, you follow a healthy lifestyle for the rest of the year, I actually say, forget it, have fun.
Yeah, because one day isn't going to kill you.
One day or even a week, you know, like on vacation is not going to kill you if you are a regular healthy person. But for those people who are struggling with weight management or, you know, with loneliness and they're unemployed, you know, they've got a lot of free time and they're kind of overdoing the unhealthy habits, I think it's really, really important to have a game plan going into the holiday season.
So part of that game plan, you know, a lot of people's game plan is, okay, well, I'm just not going to eat so that I can have this huge holiday meal. Do you suggest doing that?
Absolutely not, Haley. That's one of the things, if you've got a party coming up or a holiday meal coming up, absolutely, number one, make sure you have a good, healthy breakfast. I'm not talking about a stack of pancakes and maple syrup with a carb and a sugar load where you're going to crash. I'm talking, you know, something healthy like yogurt, low-fat yogurt with plenty of protein, some fruits, vegetables, and maybe some nuts. Give you the energy and also the fiber to make you feel good and energize you. But definitely do that before you go also to a party or to your dinner. So, you know, an hour before, have a little healthy snack as well. Hydrate, Haley. Make sure you are well hydrated, because we know that if you go to a party and you're hungry and you're dehydrated, you are going to pig out.
Yeah, and speaking of being hydrated, people are going to be offered drinks, alcoholic drinks. You know, who should maybe, you know, avoid alcohol? A lot of people think, well, I don't drink a whole lot, so I'll just save it all for the party.
Yeah, well, I think number one, you know, if you are drinking, definitely do not drive. That's number one. Yeah. You know, Uber it. And then in terms of what you should be thinking about, if you obviously if you're a recovering alcoholic and you have problems with alcohol, you know, or you've got some sort of liver problem or other medical problem, you should avoid the alcohol. But what I would say is try to go for the alcohol that is more quote unquote healthy. So the lower carb, lower alcohol versions. If you are going to have a cocktail, you know, just keep it to one, because they tend to be about double the calories and double the alcohol of things like, you know, light beer or a wine. And then making sure for every one alcoholic drink, you follow that with a water or a salsa chaser for every one. And just slow it down. You know, don't, you know, sip a little bit, move around the party, you know, have fun. And graze. So, you know, don't just hit one particular plate that you really like. Make sure you try the different things and make sure that at least half of what you are eating is fruit, vegetable, or nut, kind of healthy. And then, you know, then you can get into the kind of higher carb, higher fat, you know, little snacks.
Well, a lot of people think that they can just, you know, save a bad diet or replace a bad diet with exercise. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, again, I think it's important to keep moving over the holidays. And while you may not be able to go to your gym or do your regular workout, certainly, you know, after the main meal, think about going out, doing a walk, you know, playing some football or some touch out in the backyard, doing some exercise around, either indoor or outdoor, depending on the conditions, and trying to, you know, boost your metabolism a little bit. And also that will help stave off the hunger pains. But, you know, it's going to be really, really hard with the type of calories we're talking about, Haley, over a lot of these holiday periods. I mean, literally, you would have to run a marathon to burn off those 3,500 calories. So you're going to have a little bit of a deficit, and expect you are going to gain a little bit of weight. But again, like I said, if you're one of those people that is really, really healthy during the year, I want you to actually, have some fun. I mean, it's all about, the good times, the people, the memories, sipping that eggnog from your moose cup and watching Christmas Vacation and laughing with the kids and having fun. So I don't want you to be to go into it like stressed out. Oh, I can't eat this. I can't eat this.
Yeah, for a healthy person, for somebody who's eating healthy the rest of the year. But that's key, is that you've got to eat healthy the majority of the year.
Most of it. And if you are really, really concerned, plan ahead. Make sure you don't go to the party starving and dehydrated. And, eat a little bit, socialize, slow eating, chew a lot, and make sure you hydrate at least 1 drink of water for every alcoholic drink.
That's so interesting that you read. I read recently that we got to chew slower.
Yeah.
That it's better for our liver and our digestive system. And I was like, I can't believe that we're having to tell people to chew slower. But I'm hearing it straight from a cardiologist now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been studies that have shown, Haley, that people that chew more for each piece, like for example, one study they chewed 20 times they chewed for 1 piece of protein, a chicken wing. They actually they ate less, they had lower spikes in their blood sugar, and they tended to lose weight or maintain weight than people that just basically scarfed it down, because it takes time, Haley, for the metabolic part of your body to catch up. So if you scarf it all down, it's going to sit in your stomach, then it's going to go boom, and then you're going to get, the food coma. Whereas if you eat a little bit, chew, and let it time to absorb, you start, the brain is told, oh, I'm starting to get some food. I don't have to eat as much moving forward. And you don't eat as much, and you kind of also feel better and you feel more energetic.
I'd say it's tricking your body, but really it's just going back to the basics.
Exactly.
Dr. John Higgins, thank you so much. Dr. John Higgins with UT Health Houston, always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, and happy holidays to everyone, and have fun and make some great memories.
Amy?